Thank you for considering Wilsonart HD sinks. The following video provides a quick overview of our 3 installation methods. The box label identifies the sink design and color. Inspect your Wilsonart sink prior to beginning the fabrication process. Most Wilsonart HD sinks are marked for center faucet placement to help in the installation of plumbing fixtures. Also, a slight indentation is located in the front wall of every HD vanity to indicate the overflow location. Check for flatness of the sink flange on a flat work surface. Mark the sink location on the substrate with a set of vertical and horizontal center lines. Align the registration marks on the flange with your center lines. With a marking device, trace the sink perimeter, leaving an 1/8 inch gap between the marked line and the rim of the sink. Using a 3/4 inch paddle bit, drill a hole on the inside of the outline. This will be the starting point for your jigsaw. Using a jigsaw, cut the substrate along the marked outline of the sink. Keep the cutout for the laminate bonding process. Index the laminate with the substrate. With a marking device, trace the inside perimeter of the cutout onto the back side of the laminate. Dry fit the sink in the cutout. Ensure there is an 1/8 inch gap or less between the sink flange and the substrate. Place the substrate cutout of the sink on the back side of the laminate. Align the cutout with the marked outline. This will eliminate contact adhesive in this area. Apply contact adhesive per manufacturer's recommendations. First to the back side of the laminate, then to your substrate. Index your laminate using a spacer like a dowel rod. A J roller is recommended for applying adequate pressure to the laminate surface. Dry fit the sink in the cutout. Ensure a sink flange does not extend above the substrate. Drill a 3/8 or larger pilot hole approximately 2 inches from the inside edge of the sink cutout. Do not drill pilot hole over the faucet deck area. Using a clean white cloth, clean the exposed laminate and sink flange with denatured alcohol. Be sure to remove ink printing from the back side of the laminate at bonding locations. Prep your sink seam adhesive by slowly purging the cartridge before attaching the mixing tip. Additionally, purge the tip to ensure proper mixing of the adhesive. You can run a small test bead on a scrap piece of laminate to let you know when the adhesive is dried. Apply a single 3/16 inch bead of adhesive along the inside edge of the sink flange. Place the sink in the cutout and wiggle the sink to distribute the adhesive. Align the sink with register marks on the flange and the reference lines on the substrate. Apply firm pressure for about 10 seconds. No weights are necessary. If the flange is not flush with the substrate, use a surface leveler or router to remove excess. Fill the gap with 100% silicone. Place 3/4 inch thick wood strips around the perimeter of the sink flange. Minimum 2 inch wide strips are required. Strips should cover only the area of the sink flange that was previously trimmed. A 1/2 inch overhang is best. Secure your supports with wood glue and properly sized screws or nails. There are 3 basic ways to route and profile the laminate: Wilsonart HD Sink router bits, a laminate tilt base router with a bottom bearing bit, and the Art Betterly acrylic sink trim router. You may refer to the fabrication guide for more detailed use of the tools specific for each installation method. In this video, we will use the Wilsonart HD Sink router bits. Using the Wilsonart HD straight bit with a laminate trim router, cut out the center laminate section. Moving in a clockwise direction, apply mild pressure to the bevel edge of the sink. Use medium speed to move the router. Make sure to support the center laminate section while routing. It should be flat and not sagging. To easily set the height of the router bit so it does not come in contact with the faucet deck, place a laminate chip or scrap laminate on the faucet deck and allow the bearing to rest on the laminate sample. Tighten your router base and you're ready to go. Using a variable speed router between 16 and 18,000 RPM will prolong the life of the carbide router bits. Profile the laminate using the Wilsonart HD bevel profile bit with a laminate trim router. This will provide a close cut to the bevel of the sink and in some cases slightly cutting into the sink itself. Together, these 2 bits will minimize tool wear and sanding in the next step. When finishing the bevel edge, use a random orbital palm sander starting with 150 grit and finish with 220 grit sandpaper. Finish out the sanded bevel using a gray 3M Scotch-Brite pad. To activate the overflow, locate the indentation on the front of the sink. Use a 3/8 or 1/2 inch paddle bit and carefully drill through the acrylic surface, taking care not to drill too far past the acrylic layer. Sand the overflow hole to remove sharp edges. This concludes the spray method installation.